Beginner motorcycles come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, kind of like humans. Some are small and nimble, and others, well, if the Turbo Busa was a motorcycle, it'd be Andre the Giant. However, as much as we all want to ride Andre the Giant, wait, what? He might be so large that he is casting a shadow over some excellent bikes you might miss, and that's what today's video is all about. Welcome back to the channel, you sweet degenerate and baby yams. Is there anything else I can call you without catching hell for it? And drop some suggestions in the comments below. Papa always wants to know what makes his sweet babies happy. Man, this script is getting weird. If you're balling on a budget and trying to get into the world of riding, I have another list of 7 overlooked beginner motorcycles. I tried finding these on Craigslist so you wouldn't have to search in the backwoods of the deep south or a barn in the middle of Idaho just to find one of these gems. Some are the same because they're still in production, while others become too scarce, especially within the US market. So here we go. Number 1, the YAMAH VSTAR 250. So, I'm a Yamaha Triumph. Where is my sponsorship, by the way, guys? How many Daytonas have I sold for you? If you guys aren't careful, I'm gonna put up y'all's email on a video and tell people to message you until you get in contact with my people. And even a Ducati snob these days. Life's kind of funny, isn't it? And so for the first bike, it's the Yamaha VSTAR 250. With the low seat height and easy controls, this bike is perfect for beginners, doesn't have too much torque, has low maintenance with an air-cooled engine. The price tag for these bikes are roughly $3,000, but I've seen them going for way cheaper than that. You can accessorize and mod the crap out of these things to fit your need and style. It's a beginner cruiser for anyone. The wet weight of this bike is 326 pounds, making it extremely easy for smaller riders to pick up. That's a featherweight in the cruiser world, and a light bike in general. To give you perspective, my Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled weighs about 430 pounds, so it's a full 100 pounds lighter than that bike. I'm not making fun of you, no one, and I mean no one, wants to try to pick up an 800-pound bike after riding it for only a couple weeks. Seriously, that's way too heavy. Since it's a really popular bike, VSTARs are easy to sell to the next noob. No one ever said you have to keep your beginner's bike, did they? One of the coolest things about the VSTAR is that even though it's a 250cc, it's actually a V-twin, so you'll still get plenty of cool pops, burgles, and burgles? Burgers? What are you going to get from it? You're going to get cool pops, burbles, and crackles from its multi-cylinder engine. Check your years and production dates on the VSTARs, originally manufactured by Yamaha. In '94, they used the STAR name as a standalone, but in 2016, they resumed manufacturing bikes as a STAR model, not a subsidiary brand. Regardless, the bikes are the same and will have the same reliability and performance you can expect from a Yamaha. Number 2 is the Suzuki GS500. And did you miss it? The Suzuki GS500 is next in our list of overlooked bikes. We'll even include the F model in case you're not a fan of the naked look. Cooled parallel twin, this bike is everything you need in a beginner's motorcycle. It's got upright seating, fairings if you want the sporty look, and 500 cc's that produce a punchy 30 foot-pounds of torque. These bikes have been made forever and still have a very limited cost. The $1,500 to $3,000 market still exists for these bikes. The fully faired version sits on the higher end, while the naked and older models sit on the lower end. If you need a bike now and don't want to buy something with zero resale potential like a Hyosung, then I suggest you go into the GS500 lifestyle. It's not an SV650, but it'll definitely take you where you need to go nonetheless. Seriously, the GS500 might be the ultimate underdog of beginner bikes here. I've ridden a few, and although they aren't nearly as punchy or fun to ride as the SV650, if you're on an extreme budget and can only afford to shell out $1,200 or so on a motorcycle, the GS500 could very well be your machine. A great alternative if you don't mind some ugly looks is the Ninja 500 as well. Number 3 is the Suzuki Boulevard M50. Well, it's another Suzuki and it made it to the list. The Suzuki Boulevard M50. It's still in production and still a favorite amongst noobs and experienced riders. Why? It's still cheap to maintain, cheap to ride, and cheap to customize and make your own. The earlier M50s can be found on Craigslist in the sub $3,000 range, which makes it perfect for the college student, the E2s in the military, and those trying to get their foot in the door before getting a mortgage on a Harley Davidson. Remember, every bike you buy doesn't have to be forever, and it doesn't have to be your only bike. The M50 still has the liquid-cooled 805cc V-twin engine, so moving around town or on the highway will be a breeze. Seriously, 805cc's is going to be a very torquey and fun bike, and torque is what makes motorcycles fun in my opinion. Twisting the throttle and getting instant feedback of acceleration, now that's something we all love. Boulevards can be chromed out, blacked out, and changed in almost any way you want them to be. For a beginner bike that isn't crawling out of the hole and can be kept for years to come, the bike shows its value and is gonna look great. Now, what if I told you there was a way to cop a beginner bike completely for free? What? Yammie, a free motorcycle? This is ridiculous, but it's true. Yours truly does motorcycle giveaways completely for free. Check out the link below to our Patreon to learn more about it. You can send me a letter completely for free to enter for a chance to win, or you can grab yourself some merch and earn additional chances as well. You can also sign up on Patreon to support the series, and you can enter to win that way too. We've got a brand new Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650 waiting to be given away to a lucky winner, so click the links below, get yourself squared away, and entered to win. Now, number 4 on our overlooked beginner bikes list is none other than the Honda CBR 500. Now, this might be my personal favorite on this list. If you're not about to dive into a 600cc bike and a Ninja 300 seems inadequate, the Honda CBR 500R becomes a viable option. With a 471cc liquid-cooled twin-cylinder engine, the 500R has roughly 50 horsepower and 30 foot-pounds of torque. It's enough to zip through city traffic, cruise at highway speeds, and even have a little spirited fun, especially on twisties. Used prices for these bikes are in the $4,000 to $5,000 range, but because it's a Honda, it'll hold its value and be easy to maintain. Now, you can definitely pick them up for cheaper than that. I have seen them way cheaper than that. It's a great beginner's crotch rocket with full fairings and relaxed forward lean angle. You can choose to go full tuck or ride upright. It's your choice on this bike. As a beginner motorcycle, it'll allow you to safely learn your low speed maneuvers and get used to the sport bike feel. The Honda CBR 500R is not like the underpowered 250cc bikes out there. You may have heard me bashing on the Suzuki GSX 250R, which is a mini Gixxer of sorts with maximum top speed equal to the shift point in first gear of its real GSXR lineup. A beginner bike doesn't have to rip through gears like a leader bike, but it should take seconds, not weeks, to get to highway speed. The CBR 500R does just that. If you're starting to notice a trend here that 500s are the darlings of overlooked beginner bikes, you'd be right. 500cc's of street bike fun sits perfectly in the middle of 650s and 300s, and honestly, since most people aren't actively looking for them, you can actually get really good deals on these bikes. Now, bike number 5 is the Kawasaki VERSYS 650. Now, you guys know I've dogged on the VERSYS 650 in the past, but stick with me here, this is going to be a good one. Making back onto our overlooked beginner's bike list is the Kawasaki VERSYS. With prices of these bikes dropping into the $3,000 range, you cannot go wrong with this bike. It's still a little on the ugly side, but it's the 650 that'll be your workhorse for years to come. Bring a passenger, pack your saddlebag, and go somewhere for the weekend. The VERSYS remains the blend-in type of bike where people won't approach you to try to pop nooners in the parking lot. Most of the hood rats won't even bother because nothing on this side of the bike screams squid missile. The VERSYS is a great 650 for all riders regardless of experience. If you're entering the world of motorcycling, you can reap the benefits of having a bike that can be utilized for more than simply breaking the speed limit. Repairs and maintenance will be cheap, as will the availability of parts. With a Kawasaki, you really can't go wrong. Number 6 on our overlooked beginner bikes list is the BUELL Blast. Okay, so the BUELL Blast. This is the kind of bike for the person who just needs a bike. Any bike. Much like the owner of a PT Cruiser with 200,000 miles on it or the High Point handgun, this bike is for the minimalist who needs 2 wheels out of necessity. If mopeds, mobility scooters, and electric shopping carts are subpar for you, the Blast should literally be an upgrade. With a one-piece banana-type seats, 492 one single-cylinder engine, and a rock-solid fairing, this bike was meant to be dropped in your yard just like your bicycles. Whatever your thing is or isn't, the BUELL Blast is the complete opposite. All joking aside, the motorcycle was produced for 9 years under the parent company Harley-Davidson. The bike is rugged and was intended for beginners, hence the hard plastics, and is a good running bike. Prices on Craigslist are within the $1,000 to $2,000 range, what makes it close to trade-worthy. Do you have a used Xbox you no longer play? Try and trade it for a Blast. You might just end up with a motorcycle sooner or later. Sometimes having a motorcycle that runs is more important than not having a bike at all, in which case a used Blast should be on your list. Number 7, last but not least on our overlooked beginner's bike list is the Ninja 650. Now, this might be a bit of a cop-out. You might tell me, Yammie, people know about the Ninja 650, to which I say I've talked to a lot of people and they don't really seem to know about the Ninja 650. This bike made the list because it has both the sporty look of other Ninjas, but also the performance of a 650cc bike. It's not the ZX6R crotch rocket, but an S-tier beginner bike. Check out my beginner bike tier list video for that. And it's sufficient for any rider. If your R1 is at home while you're on a vacation and you get offered to take a Ninja 650 for a rip, you'll do it. If you really want a beginner bike that you can call your own for a couple years, fall in love with, and even keep when you get your first Turbo Busa, then the Ninja 650 is it. Prices for these are in the $3,000 to $4,500 range used, so it's still attainable for all the broke boys out there. It's just going to take a few more weeks or months of saving up. In the end, it'll be worth it. Whether you're a fan of Kawasaki or not, owning one is convenient. Parts, knowledgeable tech/DIY videos, and other resources are readily available. There's a lot of cheap aftermarket support for the Ninja SV650 as well, so mishaps such as dropping it or repairing it are going to be on the cheaper side. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Did you like it? Are you going to be shopping for bikes now? I'd really like to know what types of bikes you guys want to learn more about, or we can even try things that go against the internet. Should we do a 600cc starter bike series, a leader bike starter series? It sounds like there are unicorns in the motorcycling world, and because of this, new riders have inherent fears of starting on certain bikes. Please let me know in the comments and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to check out our motorcycle giveaway. We've got a Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650 ready to be given away. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Fact: a 10-year-old mattress weighs double what it did when it was new due to debris that it absorbs over time. That debris includes dust mites, mold, millions of dead skin cells, dandruff, animal and human hair, secretions, excretions, lint, pollen, dust, soil, sand, and a lot of perspiration, which the average person loses at a rate of a quart a day. That is so gross. Goodbye.